他们的福音事工的一个简介。那这个是中文版的，所以你可以去拿。等一下聚完会的时候，我们会放在柜台那里，也许你可以拿来看一下他们的事工，关心他们的事工。去年有参加的人可能已经开始接触，那今年我们很荣幸，这次是教务长跟院长一起来到我们当中，那我们就拍手欢迎Aris 跟院长，然后 Sis 是我们的好朋友，他已经第2次来我们中间了哈。那我们这一次真的很有恩宠，就是他们2位同时在我们中间，所以我们后山有特别的恩典。那他们到台北就要分开，各自有各自的这个服事了。但是在这里呢，他们就是一起跟我们敬拜，我觉得真的很宝贵。我们有这样的机会能够接待他们，然后我想这是非常美好的。阿们。所以我们一起站起来，我们跟所有的人说，今天我们要领受神满满的恩典。阿们。 打动我们的心，我们还是将荣耀颂赞献归给我们的主。愿他设立他的宝座在我们中间，保守我们的心思意念，能够清楚来明白主的话。所以我们一起开口来祷告，我们就是说，主耶稣成就你的作为在我的身上，将智慧和启示的灵充满在我的生命里面。哈利路亚！一起来祷告，就是来赞美他、敬拜他。耶稣，我们赞美你；耶稣，我们赞美你；耶稣，我们赞美你。主，愿你成就你的作为在我们中间。主，谢谢你。主，早晨我们要向你献上赞美和敬拜。主，因为你是我们的力量，你是我们的救赎，你是我们的盼望。主，今天早晨，主愿你的圣灵浇灌在我们中间，将智慧和启示的灵充满在我们当中。主，你设立你的宝座在我们当中。主，谢谢你，让我们能够一起聚集。主，为着就是要看见主你的荣耀彰显在全地之上。耶稣，我们赞美你，哈利路亚！耶稣，我们赞美你，主，我们敬拜你，是我们真主。哈利路亚！耶稣，耶稣，我们赞美你。哈 诗歌。主，你是我们的亮光，你是我们的拯救。主，你是我们的磐石，我们的山寨，我们的避难所。主，谢谢你如此真实的活在我们的生命里面。主，也谢谢你给我们有这样的机会，能够专注来跟随你，来学习新的功课。主，求你继续来敞开我们的心，在今天早晨，主，愿你的话进入我们的灵里面，主，来更新我们的全人。主，我们再一次将今天早上、中午的聚会交在你的手中，愿你与我们同在，带领我们。主，我们为院长跟教务长交在你的手中，谢谢你差派他们到我们当中，给我们有这么好的学习。主，让我们能够完全领受你的话语。祷告奉耶稣的名，阿门，阿门。感谢主，跟你旁边的人说，耶稣爱你，就可以坐下来。谢谢主，之后，阿门，阿门，感谢主。那我们真的很高兴，2年哈，去年是 SAYS 来，今年是院长跟那个教务长都来。那也感谢雅娜，就是孝芬姐，就是分享这个资源在我们整个家这样。那我就废话不交给今天早上是教务长 SAYS 在我们当中。那下午呢，我们是12点半就聚会，因为他们2点半就要走了，就要回台北，就是有明天后天有华神的课，所以呢如果你觉得我们中间的休息时间很短，如果你觉得你想要待在这边不要出去吃饭，你可以跟宋恩订便当，那等一下你都可以。
So on. That was good. It's really good to be back with you today.
今天很高兴呢，能够呢再一次回到你们当中。
The last time I was in Taiwan, I had really some very memorable experiences.
前一次我在台湾的时候呢，有一些非常美好的回忆。
But I can say that I think one of the things that I think I remember most is being here and worshiping with you.
但是我要说的呢，我记得最清楚的就是在这里跟大家一起敬拜。
And there's just something very special about this community.
因为在你们当中这个社区里面呢，有非常特殊的意义。
And it's just a joy for me to actually say that you're my family.
那我也很高兴说，你们就是我的家人一样。
We don't look alike, but we're related.
我们虽然长得不一样，但是我们是有关系的。
Because of Jesus, we're one.
因为耶稣的关系呢，所以我们合而为一。
在耶稣里，我们是一家人。I don't know what bothers Taiwanese.
我不知道说台湾人有哪些方面就是会觉得不太能够过关的一些事情。
Every people has certain things that bother them.
因为每个人都有一些事情，好像他们不太能够过关，不知道是什么事。
You know, maybe what bothers you this morning is the political situation.
也许今天早上也许是有一些政治上的问题困扰你了。
Or the security situation.
或者是因为安全国防方面的问题啊。
Or the economic situation.
或者是经济方面的问题啊。
As a Taiwanese, maybe there's certain things about this city that are heavy on your hearts.
那也成为一个，就是身为台湾人，也许呢，你是对这个城市当中有些负担。
Maybe there are certain things going on in the city that when you see it, it really pains you, it grieves you.
也许你看到这个城市的某些方面的状况，让你的心里非常的忧伤。
Maybe you're the only person in your family that is a believer in Jesus, and the rest of your family worship idols.
那也许呢，你是你们家中唯一一个信主的，而其他人都还在拜偶像。
And it may very well be that every time you see people burning incense to false gods, it bothers you.
那也许呢，你看到呢，这其他人他们在烧香拜拜的时候呢，这件事让你很困扰。
Again, each one of us carries certain things that bother us.
也就是我们每一个人，我们里面可能都有一些对某些事情的一些负担或者是 困扰，你也可以说是那个在你里面呢不能过关的事。
So if you don't have enough troubles of your own, I would like to give you some of my troubles this morning.
如果你们觉得你们的这个困扰的事还不够多的话，今天早上我要再给你加一些给你们我的。
I want to invite you into things that bother me as a Jewish believer in Jesus.
我要请你们来看，身为一个犹太人信主的一个犹太人呢，是什么事情让我里面最不能够过关的？
Certain problems that I think about.
是某些问题是我常常在想的。
Perhaps one of the big problems is to think that most of my people don't know Jesus.
我想呢，有件就是我们大部分的犹太人，我的族民呢，他们大部分都还没有信耶稣。
How is it that we're here in Taiwan and you're singing the praises of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and yet my people are so far away they don't understand?
你想想看，在这里呢，这个地方，你们大家可以这样的一起来颂赞敬拜耶稣。可是呢，我的百姓，我的家，我的这个族人呢，在那边呢，却很多人都没有办法像你们这样的来敬拜。
It bothers me that the Hebrew Bible is so clear about the Messiah Jesus, and yet my people don't see him.
但是从这个希伯来文的圣经里面讲得很清楚，耶稣就是弥赛亚，但是我的百姓却没有看见。
But I have to tell you, there's something else that also bothers me.
那我也要跟大家分享，还有一些其他的事情也让我很困扰。
I've met many Christians that also don't see the Messiah in the Old Testament.
因为我也看到很多基督徒呢，他们没有从这个旧约圣经里面看到耶稣就是弥赛亚。
Many Christians that think that the Old Testament is old and it's no longer relevant.
很多的基督徒呢，就认为说旧约呢是旧约，所以跟呢这个耶稣基督呢就没有讲那么清楚，是没有关系的。
So this morning, I'm actually going to invite you in to a particular problem that I would like to help us solve together.
那所以今天早上呢，我邀请大家一起来看一个问题，希望从这个问题当中呢，我们来找出这个解答。
A problem that is very near and dear to my heart because this is such a crucial issue in engaging the Jewish people.
这个问题在我的心中呢是非常宝贵的一件事情，因为呢，借由这个问题的解答呢，是对我的百姓是非常重要的。
I would like to talk to you about the problem of the Messiah in the Torah.
所以我要从这个妥拉里面来讲弥赛亚的问题。
Now, when I say Torah, do you know what I'm talking about?
当我讲妥拉的时候呢，你知道我在讲的是什么吗？
Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Exactly.
摩西五经。
Actually, it's not 5 books.
实际上呢，不是5卷书。
What's the first book of the Bible?
你们知不知道那个圣经中第一卷书是哪一卷书 ？Genesis。是创世纪吗
Now, don't be angry with me.
我若给你们解答案，你们不要跟我生气哦。
There's no such thing as the book of Genesis.
其实根本没有所谓的创世纪这一卷书。
There's no such thing as the book of Exodus.
根本没有所谓的出埃及记这一卷书。
Where's the exit?
那个出口在哪里？可能我要被打了，我都要找个出口赶紧逃出去。
Let me explain what I'm talking about.
让我来解释我怎么这样说。
Whenever you read the rest of the Old Testament and the New Testament, they never speak about the book of Genesis or the book of Exodus or the book of Leviticus.
当你在读旧约或新约的时候呢，他从来没有讲到创世纪这一卷书或出埃及这一卷书。
For all the other authors of both the Old and the New Testament, they only knew one book, the book of Moses.
那对于所有的圣经的这些作者呢，不论是旧约的，他们只有知道一卷书，就是所谓的就是摩西的经上的。
The Torah is one book.
妥拉呢是一卷书。
It's not 5 books.
它不是5卷书。
Now, that's very important for us to realize because it helps us to actually understand the book.
因为这个概念很重要，因为这个概念会帮助我们来了解这一个妥拉这一卷书是什么。
Could you imagine if there was a movie series that had 5 parts?
那你可以想想看，就是说一个电影啊，它的这个，比如说它里面有5个续集，
And you only focus on one part.
而你只看了第1集。
But you can't understand that one part of the movie without watching the whole movie.
但是呢，你如果只看第1集呢，你就没有办法了解这整个电影它整个的经历是什么，除非你都看完了这所有的续集。
So what I'm saying is that the Torah is actually one movie. It's one book.
所以呢，妥拉摩西的这个书呢，实际上是一卷书。
And in order to understand it as a book, we have to read the whole thing and relate its parts.
所以呢，要能够完全了解呢，你必须要从头到尾，让整个都读完了，而且能够相互能够引用，他们是互相相关的，不能分开来。
But this book has a problem.
但是呢，这卷书呢有一个问题。
The problem of the Messiah in the Torah.
这个呢，就是在这个妥拉里面，这个弥赛亚的这个问题。
You see that? I don't understand.
就教长不认，不知道。
Okay? Well, look with me in John 5:46.
我们翻到约翰福音的5章46节。
John 5:46.
5章46节。
Would you like to read that?
好，我来读啊！你们如果信摩西，也必信我，因为他书上有指着我说的话。
Okay? So you're faster than I am, Anna. So here, hold on a second. So John 5:46.
5章46节。
Jesus says that Moses wrote about him in the Torah.
耶稣说了，摩西在妥拉里面已经有讲到他了。
In fact, Jesus says something really amazing.
实际上呢，耶稣在这里讲了一件非常奇妙的事情。
He actually says, look in verse, let's see here, 5:40. Yeah. Look at verse 45.
我们来看45节，他说：“不要想我在父面前要告你们，有一位要告你们的，就是你们所仰赖的摩西。”
Jesus is looking at the Pharisees, he's looking at the religious, and he says, I'm not going to accuse you.
他说：“你看着这些法利赛人，看着这些宗教性的犹太人，这些宗教性的人，我不是要来指控你们。
I'm not going to stand and accuse you for not believing in me.
我不会呢站在这边呢，指控你们说你们不相信我。
The person who's going to accuse you is Moses,
他说会指控你们的是谁呢？是摩西，
because Moses wrote about me.
因为摩西在书上已经写了我了。
If you would have believed Moses,
如果你们相信摩西的话，
if you would have carefully studied Moses,
如果你们很仔细的来研读摩西的书的话，
you would have believed in me,
你就会相信我，
because Moses wrote about me.
因为摩西呢已经写了我了。
Now, it's really interesting. When we think about the Old Testament, we think about the Messiah.
所以当我们在想这个旧约想弥赛亚的时候呢，我们就会有一次发现一件事。
We think about the prophecy, say Isaiah 53.
那我们也想到这个以赛亚书的53章，
Wow, that's clear.
这很清楚，不是吗？
Isaiah chapter 9, mighty God, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace.
那以赛亚书的第9章讲到的是永在的父，这个和平的君王，不是吗？
We think of Psalm 22, they pierced my hands and my feet.
还有呢，诗篇的22章，就是22篇，他们就是我的钉痕的手，还有我的脚。
We think about Zechariah chapter 12, they will look upon me whom they've pierced.
那撒迦利亚书的12章里面也讲到了说，他们会怎么样仰赖那一位他们所杀的那一位。
Or Micah chapter 5, that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem.
还有呢，弥迦书的第5章的里面讲说，弥赛亚会在伯利恒出生。
Right? But Jesus isn't even talking about Isaiah or Micah or Zechariah or Psalms.
但是呢，耶稣他并没有去提这一些先知书。
He says, just with Moses.
他说，你只要读这个摩西的这个书就好了。
He's saying you don't need any other book to believe in me other than Moses.
你不需要，你只要看摩西的书，不需要去读其他的书，就能够相信我了。
In other words, the Torah is so clear that it points to Jesus.
换句话说呢，也就是妥拉是这么的清楚呢，它就是指向耶稣的。
Do you believe that?
你相信吗？
So you say, so what's the problem?
那如果相信的话，那问题在哪里呢？为什么不信我呢？
Okay, I'm the dean of a Bible college,
我是这个圣经学院的教务长，
which means I like to give tests, examinations.
意思就是说我很喜欢考试。
So here's your first test.
所以你们的第一个考试呢是，
Who can tell me a place in the Torah that tells us about Jesus?
谁可以告诉我在陀拉里面哪一个经文、哪一段经文、哪一节经文讲到
I'll write it
耶
here.
稣是弥赛亚？我就写在白板上。谁能告诉我有没有哪一节经文？
First test.
这是给你们的第一个考试。
Jesus says you believe Moses, you believe me, because he wrote about me in the Torah.
耶稣已经讲了，在陀拉里面呢，摩西已经写了我了。如果对，
So can you give me a few verses?
你们可以给我几节经文吗？
You see the problem?
看到问题在哪里了吧？是不是？
Anybody, any verse.
有没有人？任何人可以找到一节经文，任何经文都可以。
Okay, Numbers what?
21:9.
民数记
Okay.
21章9节。
Numbers 21:9 is about the snake, right? Right? It's about the
这
snake.
是讲到的是那个蛇。
Shula, right? The snake. Okay. The problem is that Jesus doesn't say that verse is about him.
那问题是说呢，耶稣并没有说这一节经文是讲他，
Jesus says that verse is like him.
说耶稣是在讲说这一节经文呢是像他一样。
In other words, just like Moses lifted up the snake, so I will be lifted up.
他就说呢，就像摩西说的呢，他举起这个蛇，就好像我会
So
被
it's not
举起来。
quite a messianic prophecy.
所以他这个还不算是这个弥赛亚的一个预言。
But just because I'm in Taiwan and I'm happy, I'll give it to you.
因为我在台湾，那我很高兴的能够给你们这个经文。
So we have one.
好，
Any more?
还有没有其他人有经文
女人的后裔要
？That's
伤
the
蛇的。
seed of the woman。
Yes!
对。
Good. Genesis 3:15.
创世纪的3章15节。
Right? So there's the promise that the seed of the woman would crush the head of the snake.
所以已经有一个应许了，就是这女人的后裔呢，她会伤蛇的头。
Good, 很好. So we have 两
节，现在有大家举出2节经文了。
2 verses. Any more?
还有没有？
This is a hard test.
这个好难哦，考试。
But you see that we believe the words of Jesus.
你知道，我们相信耶稣的话。
We believe when Jesus says the Torah testifies about him that it's true.
我们相信说，当耶稣说摩西的这个陀拉里面呢已经写了他了，我们相信这句话他说的是真实的。
In my Jewish mind, I want to know how.
那在我这个犹太人的这个头脑里面，我就会想说，他是怎么写的呢？
I believe Jesus is saying the truth.
我相信耶稣说的是真的。
But I still want to understand, how is it possible that the Torah testifies about Jesus?
但是我会想说，那这个妥拉是怎么样呢见证的耶稣呢？
Because I want to be able to use the Torah to show Jewish people that it's about Jesus.
因为我希望能够用妥拉来向犹太人来见证的，里面讲的就是耶稣是弥赛亚。
Any more verses?
还有没有其他人有经文呢？
1 more? 2 more?
有没
3
有在
more?
1节、2节、3节？
You say, Seth, it's not fair. I didn't study for this exam.
你说，这个潘教务长，我根本没有读过啊！你现在就要考试了。
I'll give you a few more.
好，我给你们几
Okay? A few more I give you.
好，我给你们
For free.
免费，先给你们，先给你们。
送给你礼物。
对，送给你们，给你，
Okay. So, Genesis
创世纪
49, 8 through 12.
8到12节。
That the Messiah will come from the tribe of Judah.
这个弥赛亚会从犹大的支派出来。
Numbers
还有民数记
24,
24章
verses 17 through 19.
17到19节。
That the Messiah will be like a star that comes out of Jacob and crush the head of the enemy.
那个弥赛亚呢，他会从雅各的那里出来，就是如同晨星一样，他会呢，伤那个仇敌的喉。
Deuteronomy 18:15.
这申命记18章15节。
That there would be a prophet that would come like Moses.
有一位呢先知出来，如同摩西一样。
In other words, when we see somebody that rises up in Israel that does similar things that Moses does, that's the prophet.
如果呢，你们看到有一位呢像摩西一样所兴起的这个先知，他所做的事情的话，这位就是先知。
There are a couple more verses, but we're going to content ourselves with these.
那还有一些其他的经文，但是我们先用这几节经文来
How
讲。
many verses do we have here?
我们这边现在有多少节经文呢？现在
Five verses.
有5节了。
Five. How do you say five?
5
I like in Cantonese better.
还是超喜欢广东话的 ，How is it？
Okay. So let me suggest there are about 9 to 12 verses total.
其实呢，在里面总共有大概9到12节的经文讲
That
到，
have been traditionally understood as being messianic.
在传统上呢，我们就了解说，这9到12节是一般认为这个是指出耶稣是弥赛亚的经文。
And you say, but Seth, you said you were going to talk to us about the problem of the Messiah.
潘博士，你不是要讲这个弥赛亚的问题吗？
One day I was bored,
我出生的时候，
so I counted all the verses in the Torah.
结果我就数这个妥拉里面呢，总共有多少节经文？
It was easy. I have a computer.
很容易啦，其实啊，我有电脑啊。
There are 5,853 verses.
那总共有5853节。
Oh, sorry. 5,853 verses in the Torah.
在妥拉里面总共有这么多节经文，
So nine verses of 5,853 verses.
所以里面呢大概有9节，从这5853节里面的有9节是特别提到。
9 verses of 5,853 verses.
从5853节里面呢，有9节是讲到
Who's good at
耶稣
math?
是弥赛亚。
I'm
那
not
谁数
good
学
at
很
math.
好？
Who's good at math?
我的数学不好。
What is the percentage?
那这样子占的百分比是
Can
多
you
少？
figure out the percentage of verses in the Torah that speak about the Messiah?
你可以算得出来，这个妥拉经文里面呢，讲到耶稣是弥赛亚的这个经文，相当于这整个妥拉里面的百分比是多少？
Okay, you're going to have to write it. My Chinese is not that good. Here, write it up
零
on the
点多
board.
少？0.0001，千分之一，百分之0.1，对不对？
Okay.
0.1
That,
0.1吗？还是0.00？0.1 ，0.1，sorry。
okay.
0.1.
0.01. 0.1. Okay, 0.1.
One of the 1,000.
Okay, so here we've got 0.1 verses in all the Torah that talk about Messiah.
所以这个是在这个妥拉里面占的比例讲提到弥赛亚是耶稣的。
65% of the Torah talks about laws.
妥拉里面有65%都在讲律法。
What's more important?
哪一个比较重要？
Maybe the Messiah isn't that important in the Torah.
也许妥拉里面弥赛亚并没有那么重要。
How did Jesus say that if you believe me, If you believe Moses, you believe me because he wrote about me.
那怎么会耶稣说呢？你们如果读了摩西的话呢，你就会相信，因为相信我，因为摩西已经有写了关于我的事情。
These are the problems I wake up with in the morning.
这是我早上醒来的时候，我就会想这个问题。
These are the things I think about.
这些是我就在那边想，就在想要把它想通的。
And I take very seriously Jesus' words.
但是呢，我把耶稣的话呢，看得很严肃。
So how is it that we can say that the Messiah is the most important subject in the Torah, given these percentages?
说按照这样子的一个百分比例的话呢，我们怎么能说呢？在妥拉里面最重要的就是耶稣是弥赛亚的一件事情呢？
I don't know, lesson's over.
我不知道，我们讲完课了。
Okay, let's keep going here.
好，我们继续下去。
Okay, you want to turn the PowerPoint?
可以换到下一章。
Okay, next slide. There we go. Okay, so there are different solutions that people offer to this problem.
所以呢，针对这个问题呢，不同的人他们就有一些不同的解答方式。
And I'm sure you wanted to come here this morning to learn Latin.
我相信你们今天早上是要来学拉丁文的。
The next picture here, yeah.
下一个。
So let me just simply say this. You don't need to remember this word. I'll explain it to you.
我只要念就好，你不需要背下来，你只要知道它的意思就好。
There are many New Testament or many Bible scholars that say, well, the Torah really doesn't speak about the Messiah.
那很多的圣经学者呢，就会说呢，妥拉其实并没有讲到弥赛亚。
But later on, the New Testament authors looked back and they saw special meanings in the Torah that normal people before Jesus couldn't see.
但是呢，后来呢，有他们呢再去看妥拉的时候呢，才发现这是一般人看不到的。妥拉里面讲弥赛亚的。
I don't agree.
他只有从这个新约里面才看得出来，但是我不同意这件事情。
I don't agree because Jesus said that just with the Torah, we should be able to recognize that Jesus is the Messiah.
我不同意这些学者说，只能从圣经里面呢，新约里面呢，才能够看出耶稣是弥赛亚的这件事情。
So in this solution, the New Testament is the solution to the problem.
因为从这一个说法里面，你只能够读新约，才能够了解。
The next slide.
下一个。
This is what I believe.
这个是我所相信的，这个学说是我所相信的。
Again, another Latin word, I won't test you on it.
这个是另外一个拉丁文。
But the word means literal meaning.
这个意思呢是按着经文的本意而解的意思。
Fuller meaning.
前面那个呢讲的是完整的意思。
A bigger meaning in the New Testament.
而是在呢这个新约里面解出完整的意思。
Literal meaning, it's the meaning of the Old Testament.
那下面那个呢讲的是按着经文直接去解，这个是旧约就已经可以解答这个问题了。
Are you following me so far?
可以还讲得清楚吗？
We believe the words of Jesus.
我们相信耶稣所讲的话，他已经讲了。
Because we believe the words of Jesus, we believe that just with the Torah, we ought to be able to see the Messiah.
因为我们相信耶稣所说的，你只要读妥拉，你就能够相信耶稣是弥赛亚。
By reading the Torah carefully, we realize that the Messiah is the answer.
那我们只要好好的、仔细的读妥拉，我们就会知道说，弥赛亚就是这个所有一切问题的解答。
So if you go to the next slide, let's think about, you can press 2. Let's think about the solution.
我们再想一下这个解答是什么。
One more? Okay. Now, this may or may not work. I'm going to try.
我举这个例子呢，也许可以行得通，也许行不通，但是我试试看，用这个例子来讲。
Have you ever heard of the story of the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe, Narnia?
你们有没有听过这个纳尼亚传奇啊？这个狮子
You know the story, right?
那个磨衣橱的，你们知道这个
The Chinese like lions, right? The lion dance, right?
我们中国人是这个 lion dance。
You know the lion dance? No lion
狮
dance?
子舞狮，对对对，有点 lion dance。
Okay. So, in that story, right, you have this lion named Aslan who basically saves the world.
所以在这个纳尼尔传奇里面的这个 Ashton 这个狮子呢，它实际上是拯救了整个世界。
Okay, who's the hero of the story?
那这个故事里面到底谁是这个英雄呢
Who's the hero of the story?
？The lion，
The lion. How do you say lion?
lion， 狮子。
Shudzu.
对，狮子。
Are you sure?
确定吗？
You sure?
确定是狮子吗？
You have to commit.
一定要确定。
Are you sure?
你确定吗？
You have a problem with that answer. You ready?
这个答案有一点问题。
He hardly ever shows up in the story,
但是他在这个故事里面很少出现啊。
right? There's another animal that shows up a whole lot more.
但是有另外一个动物在这个故事里面一直出现很多次。
Now, I'm a terrible artist, but I'm going to try to draw him.
我是一个很差的这个艺术家，但我会试着画一画。
Do you know what that is?
你知道这是谁吗？就是
That's a beaver.
beaver 那个叫什么？海獭。
That's a beaver, right? So, the beaver shows up a lot in the story.
在这个故事里，《纳尼亚传奇》里面的这个海獭出现了好多次啊，
More than the lion.
比那个狮子出现的次数多太多了。
So why do you say that the lion is the hero of the story and not the beaver?
那你为什么说这个狮子是英雄？为什么你不说这个海獭才是英雄呢？
You still say the lion, right?
你还是觉得是狮子啊？对，
You're really right.
对，你是对的。
Okay. How do we know that the lion is the hero and not the beaver?
我们怎么知道说是狮子是英雄，而不是这个海獭呢？
The reason we know that the lion is the hero and not the beaver is because the lion solves he solves the problem of the story.
那是因为我们看到的是狮子，它呢把所有的问题解决了。
Let me say that again. It's very important for our discussion.
我再说一次啊，这个对我们的这个讨论非常重要。
The lion is the hero not because he shows up all the time.
狮子呢，它是这个英雄，不是因为它出现的次数很多，
The lion shows up about this many times in the story.
它也像呢，大概在这个故事里面，差不多也只有这样子的一点点百分比出现的。
He hardly shows up in the story.
它几乎在这个故事里面很少出现。
But why is he the hero?
但是它为什么是英雄呢？
Because he fixes the problem.
因为它解决了问题。
I would argue
我会说，
that when we think about the Messiah in the Torah, we have to think in terms of who solves the problem in the story.
所以当我们在讲这个妥拉里面的弥赛亚的时候呢，我们要想的是谁把问题解决了。
In other words, we're not asking how many times the Messiah appears in the Torah, but where he appears in the Torah.
换句话说呢，我们不是在讲说他在妥拉里面到底出现了多少次，而是要讲说他到底在哪里出现了。
Do you see these verses?
看到这几节经文，
Do you see these verses here?
这几节经文，
Okay, I'm going to erase one of these verses.
我要擦掉一节，
I'm going to add another verse.
然后我要加上另外一节。
Numbers 24, 7 through 9.
这个是民数记24章，民数记24章7到9节，
There are only a few verses here, right?
这只有几节经文，不是吗？
There are very few verses.
这非常少。
Okay, but
但是呢，
these verses are like the lion in the story.
但是呢，这几节经文就像这个《纳尼亚传奇》里面的这个狮子出现的人一样。
This morning, as we were walking here to the church,
今天早上，当我们呢走到教会来的时候，
I saw in my dear brother Ennis, he had a thread sticking out in his shirt.
我看到的我亲爱的弟兄呢，他的这个衬衫上面呢有一
And
条
it was
线，
right on the line, right here.
就在他的这个缝线的上面有一条线出来了。
Do you know what I wanted to do?
你知道我那个时候就本能的很想做什么吗？
I wanted to pull it. I really wanted to pull it.
我那时候好想把它拉出来。
I don't know if guys are in Taiwan like they are in where I'm from.
我不知道在台湾的这个弟兄们哈，跟我在这个我的以色列那边是不是一样？
When I buy a shirt
当我买那个一件衬衫的时候，
and I put it on and I'm on my way to work
当我这个穿上了之后，然后我去上班呢，
and I see a thread sticking out,
我如果看到呢有一条那个线啊就出来，就是
it starts to drive me crazy.
会让我很难过。
Now I know if I were smart and reasonable, I would wait to get to work and cut it.
我知道我如果呢是聪明的哈，够聪明的话，我一定会等到办公室的时候再拿个剪刀把它剪掉。
But I can't do it.
但是我没办法，没有东西，
So I pull it.
所以我就把它拉。
And usually by the third pull, I realize I shouldn't have pulled it.
但通常呢，我要拉3次之后，我就知道我其实不应该这样拉，
Because suddenly you've lost half your sleeve.
因为呢，你们一拉呢，你那个半截的这个袖子就掉了。
So what if I could show you that these verses are actually the seams that stitch the whole story of the Torah together?
所以呢，我要跟大家讲，就是说这几节经文呢，就好像这个衣服的缝线一样，上面的线，它是把整本的这个妥拉呢，就是串联在一起。
For instance, if I took Genesis 3:15 as a thread,
举例来讲，我如果用这个创世纪的3章15节作为这个起头的话，
and I pulled it really hard,
如果很用力的拉这条线的话，
do you know what would happen?
你知道结果会怎么样吗？
The whole Torah would go,
整个妥拉呢都会被这样拉起
it
来，
would all bunch up.
整个都拉起来，
It would all be stuck together.
就整个妥拉都会就粘在一起。
In other words, without Genesis 3:15, the Torah no longer makes sense.
因为换句话说，就是说没有创世纪3章15节的话，整本妥拉都没有意义了。
Without Genesis 3:15, the Torah and the problem of the Torah has no solution.
也就是说呢，没有创世纪3章15节的话呢，妥拉里面的问题根本就没有办法解决。
So there's a principle we say in English. You can do the next slide. It's
下
called
下一章，
we judge things not based on quantity but on quality.
所以我们判断事情呢，不是用这个数量来判断，而是用品质、质量来判断。
Does that make sense?
这样子可以这样
Are you following me?
可以
Okay,
跟得上。
so let's talk now about what is the problem of the Torah.
好，我们来谈说，那妥拉的问题是什么呢？
What's the problem of the Torah?
那妥拉里面的问题是什么呢？
And then we can look at the solution.
然后我们知道问题之后，我们就可以来找这个答案。
And I would like to argue that here's the solution right here.
那我要跟大家的这个讲的就是说，我觉得这些就是刚刚讲的问题的答案。
Now, I wish I had about 3 weeks to go over all of
我
this.
就盼望我有3个礼拜可以跟大家详细的解释这个事情。
I don't have 3 weeks.
但是我没有3个礼拜，
I have how many more minutes
还剩下
left?
几分钟，还剩下几分
30
钟，
more minutes
大
left.
概还剩下30分钟
Okay,
左右。
so let's talk for a moment, next slide, about
下一个。
Genesis 1 through 11.
这是创世纪第1到11章，
Genesis 1 through 11.
创世纪的1到11章。
Genesis 1 through 11 is the introduction to the story of the Torah.
创世纪1到11章呢是妥拉的这个前言。
Genesis 1 through 11 tells us why God chose Abraham.
这边呢告诉我们说，为什么神呢跟亚伯拉罕呢
You ever
讲一些
wonder
事情？
why God chose Abraham?
你有没有想过说，哎，为什么神呢拣选亚伯拉罕呢，跟他讲一些事情呢？
Why did he choose Abraham?
为什么是亚伯拉罕呢？跟他为什么要向他显现，跟他讲呢？
God chose Abraham to fix something.
因为呢，神向亚伯拉罕呢 显现是要来解决一些问题的。
Something was broken.
是有一些事情呢，破坏了。
And so God chose Abraham to fix the problem that was broken.
所以呢，上帝要向亚伯拉罕显现呢，要好来能够解决之前的这些问题。
Look with me at Genesis 1:28.
那创世纪的第1章28节。
Yeah, can you read Genesis 1:28?
128，要28节，神就赐福给他们，又对他们说，要生养众多，遍满地面，治理这地，也要管理海里的鱼、空中的鸟和地上各样行动的活物。
This verse contains 3 reasons why God chose Abraham.
这一段经文呢，显明神为什么这个拣选亚伯拉罕，要他来解决某些问题。
3 reasons.
有3个理由在这里面。
When God made Adam and Eve, what did He do to them?
当神就创造亚当跟夏娃的时候，那个时候他给他们什么？To rule the land.
Okay, He created them to rule, but before that, what did God do to Adam and Eve after He made them?
在那个之前，那个地之前，当神创造了亚当跟夏娃的时候呢，神要他们做什么？To have fruitful.
Okay, there's one. He told them to be fruitful,
要生养众多。
right? Seed.
这个呢，就是那个种子或是那个后裔。
What else?
还有什么呢？
What else did He do to them?
还有神创造他们to rule.
Okay, to rule the land. It says to conquer the land.
那管理治理，或者是你要能够掌管那块地图。
They're supposed to conquer the land, it says.
那他的意思就是说，你要攻取，要掌管，能够治理这个地
Right?
方。
But what did God do to them? So He says, I want you to be fruitful. I want you to conquer the land. But what else did God do to them?
还有呢？还有其他的？其他？
He blessed them.
他把他们
Blessing.
他祝福他们，
Blessing.
祝福
Fu, right?
祝福
I know fu.
Yeah,
It's with on the New Year's, right?
that's right.
Yeah, fu, upside down.
That's right. Upside down.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Blessing,
就祝福
seed, be fruitful,
祝福他们呢，能够生养众多，
and conquer the land.
并且呢，能够治理那块地图。
Does this sound familiar at all elsewhere in the Torah?
在这个妥拉里面，还有没有其他地方你觉得，我好像很熟悉啊，好像也读过啊？
Why did God choose Abraham?
神为什么要拣选亚伯拉罕，
To be a
还要让他成为一个什么呢？
blessing,
祝福，
to have many children,
要有很多的孩子后
and
子
to
孙，
conquer the land.
好能够呢治理那块地图。
Do you see this?
有没有看到这样的一个顺
Do you
序？
see the connection?
有没有看到这样的
This is
关联呢？
this is really important.
这是很重要的。
What happens in Genesis chapter 3?
在这个创世纪第3章又出了什么事呢？
Do you remember what happens in Genesis 3?
你还记得在创世纪第3章里面出了什么事？
Adam and Eve eat the fruit,
亚当跟夏娃吃了禁果，
and 3 things happen.
就发生了3件事。
3 things happen.
3件事，发现了3件事。
From blessing,
从祝福，
what enters the world?
什么东西进到世界来 ？curses，
Curses.
咒诅。
From many seed,
从生养众多，
what happens?
结果变成什么呢
It's
？It's the birth pain。
I heard that giving birth is easy, right?
对，过去本来生
Having
养
babies
是
easy,
很
no
容
pain.
易的，但是应该是没有那么多
Right, Mama,
没有
easy.
痛苦，是应该很容易的。
It's easy to have children, doesn't hurt.
但是呢，现在我们看到这个生孩子是不是很痛苦？
It hurts, right? It hurts. Okay? So problems with children, having children.
所以呢，这就是要生养众多，就有些问题了。
What about the land?
那地土呢？
What did God do to Adam and Eve after He brought them into the land?
那当神把亚当和夏娃带进这个园子的时候，他做了什么事？
He kicked them out.
哦，后来之后，就他们吃了禁果之后，他做了什么事？他把他们驱逐出去了，驱逐出乐园。
Instead of blessing, we have curses.
所以呢，没有了祝福，反倒呢是咒诅。
Instead of fruitful seed, we have pain and death.
那没有办法生养众多，反而我们有的是什么？是死亡跟痛苦。
Instead of living with God in the land, we have exile.
那我们没有办法再跟神住在那个园中呢，现在变成了什么？他被驱逐出去，
Big problems.
是很大的问题。
So why does God choose Abraham?
所以神为什么要拣选亚伯拉罕？要做什么呢？
I can explain it very simply.
我可以很简单的
Genesis 3:15.
就是从创世纪3章15节里面。
Genesis 3:15 is the solution to this problem.
所以创世纪的3章15节呢，是这个问题的解答。
Through the seed of the woman would one day come somebody who would fix creation.
就是从女人的那一位后裔呢，他有一天他会解决所有的这些问题。
Through the seed of the woman, somebody would bring blessing and undo the curses.
从这一位后裔呢，他可以呢将咒诅挪去，然后恢复祝福，
Bring life instead of death.
然后会带来生命，然后去除死亡，
And conquer the land and all the enemies in the land.
并且呢能够再一次呢把那块地土夺回，然后驱走这些仇敌。
In other words, without Genesis 3:15,
换句话说，如果没有创世纪3章15节的话，
God's choice of Abraham doesn't make sense.
神拣选亚伯拉罕就没有什么意义了。
The messianic hope doesn't make sense.
这个弥赛亚就是的这个盼望也就失去它的意义了。
Now, why did all these bad things happen? Why did we get curses? Why did we get death? And why did we get exile?
为什么我们后来会有这些咒诅呢？为什么有咒诅、死亡，
Why?
然后又被驱逐
Remember?
出去？为什么？记得吗？
Why did all these problems come into the world?
是什么原因让这些问题来到这个世上呢？Because of sin.
Sin.
因为罪。
How?
是怎么犯的罪呢？
What they do?
他们做了什么 ？They didn't obey.
Yes, they didn't obey. How many laws did God give them?
那神给他们到底有几条律法？
One.
就一条。
E.
一条。
E. Right? One law.
只有一条律法。
In a perfect world,
在一个美满、完满、美好的一个世界，
with no problems,
没有任何的问题，
everything was great.
每件事都很棒。
Adam and Eve were having a great day.
这个亚当跟夏娃呢，他们有非常美好的
The
日子，
animals were happy.
这些动物都很高兴。
The lions were eating salad.
这个狮子那个时候在吃的是沙拉，
One law,
只有一条律法要守，
and they disobeyed.
他们却没有顺服守。
And God undoes from blessings to curses, from fruit to death, from land to exile.
结果呢，祝福没有了，反倒是咒诅。结果呢，生养众都不行了，就变成是死亡。然后呢，地土也没了，然后被驱逐出境。
Okay, you following me so far?
现在还跟得上啊？
How many laws did God give Israel?
那神给以色列百姓总共多少条律法？
I know. I never counted them, but I know.
我虽然没有都数过，但是我知道
613.
613条哎。
613 laws.
613条律法哎，
613 laws in a fallen world.
而且呢是在怎么样，在一个陌生的国度当中呢，要守613条律法。
And at the end of the Torah,
而在这个妥拉的最后面呢，
in Deuteronomy 31 and 32,
在申命记的31到32章，
Moses tells them, you know what? I've been with you for 40 years.
那摩西跟他们讲了，我已经跟你们40年了，
I know what you're like.
我知道你们是怎么样的百姓，
You've got a stiff neck.
你们是那个颈项硬的百姓。
And I know that when you come into the land of Israel, you're going to disobey all of God's laws.
我知道啊，你们一进到了神应许你那块地上之后呢，你们就不遵守神的律法了。
And I know you're going to suffer curses.
I'm sorry，
I know you're going to suffer curses.
我知道呢，你们进去之后呢，你们就会有咒诅。
Deuteronomy 28, a lot of curses.
那个这个申命记的28章里面讲了很多咒诅。
Instead of being fruitful, you're going to experience death.
那你本来应当生养众多了，结果没有办法了，反而会经历死亡。
And instead of inheriting the land, you're going to be kicked out.
那你本来应当是要继承这个产业，这个地图的产业，这个恩典的，可是呢，你会被驱逐出境。
So here are 613 laws. Good luck.
所以呢，现在有613条律法要守了，那就祝你幸运可以守得了。
Are you following me?
所以你们了解这个逻辑啊？
Okay. 65% of the Torah are laws.
所以妥拉里面65%呢都是律法，
But the laws aren't there to change me.
但是呢，这些律法没有办法来改变我。
In fact, the laws always condemn me.
因为实际上这些律法呢，它只是会来怎么样？它只是会来让我里面没有考见。
The story does not find a solution in my obedience.
因为在这个我们看到这个妥拉里面，在我的顺服里面，并没有办法带来这个解答。
If Adam and Eve failed keeping one laws in a perfect world,
如果亚当夏娃在一个美好完美的世界当中呢，他连一条都守不了好的话，
what hope do I have
那我有什么样的盼望呢？
with 613 laws?
我要守613条，怎么守啊？
Are you following me?
你明白这个意思啊？
In other words, the solution to all these problems cannot be through keeping laws.
所以换句话说呢，这个要能够解决这个问题，绝对不是在于能够守这些律法。
Where's the solution?
那解答在哪里呢？
Here they are.
这几节经文才是。
This is all about future victory.
那这一节呢，创世纪3章15节讲的是未来，他们那个是未来的这个得胜。
Genesis 49 is all about a coming king who would restore creation and bring blessing.
那创世纪49章这边呢讲到的是再来的君王呢，他会再一次呢把这些祝福呢再去恢复。
Numbers 24 verses 7 through 9 and 17 through 19, all about a Messiah who would bring blessing and defeat Israel's enemies.
那这个民数记呢24章的里面的这个经文讲的是呢，弥赛亚会来到以色列当中，他会带来祝福。
Deuteronomy 18:15 is about a future prophet like Moses who would bring redemption and restore Israel from exile.
这个申命记的18章里面讲到的是那个以色列百姓他们会再一次
Can you
从
go to the next slide?
从外地当中被带回来。
So what we see here, if you can just understand, is that the whole story of redemption rests on these verses.
所以你会看到呢，这整个的这个救赎的计划呢，在这几节经文里面。
When God chooses Abraham,
当神选亚伯拉罕的时候，
He says that through your seed, I'm going to bless the whole world.
他说呢，就是借由你这一位子孙后裔呢，我要祝福全地。
Not just collective seed, but a singular seed.
不是呢，很多的后裔是这一位后裔。
I am going to give you a land.
我要的呢，给你一块地图。
You are going to be fruitful and have many children.
你呢会生养众多，有很多的子孙后裔在那当中。
And as we continue on from the seed of Genesis 3:15
那我们从创世纪的3章15节里面的这一个后裔，
to the choice of Abraham to Genesis 12,
那到呢，神拣选亚伯拉罕呢，在创世纪12章里面，神拣选亚伯拉罕。
And we keep following the story. It leads us to a lion from the tribe of Judah in Genesis 49.
然后呢，接下来我们再读到呢，创世纪的49章呢，我们就读到这个犹大里面，犹大支派里面的狮子。
So, in fact, through Abraham and his seed, the blessing is restored.
所以呢，从亚伯拉罕呢，跟他这一位后裔子孙呢，这所有的这个祝福呢，都被恢复了。
The seed is restored.
所以这祝福恢复了，这个后裔也恢复了，
The land is restored.
然后呢，地图也恢复了。
The conflict, the problem is resolved through these messianic verses.
那所有在这里面的这个冲突呢，就借着这个弥赛亚呢，全部都解决了。
In Genesis 49, the Messiah grabs the enemy by the back of his neck.
那在这个创世纪49章里的弥赛亚呢，是抓着这个仇敌的那个背后颈背。
Why the back of the neck?
为什么是这个颈背呢？为什么？
The seed of the woman's got to grab the head of the serpent and crush it.
因为呢，这个女人的后裔还要怎么样？还要伤这个
In Numbers 24:17, the Messiah comes and crushes the head of the enemy.
在这个民数记的24章的17节里面就讲到了，说弥赛亚呢还要伤这个仇敌的头。
In other words, let's go back again to the percentages.
那我们再来看这个当初我们讲的这个比例。
We could say, the Messiah doesn't appear that much. He's not important.
那我们可以说，哦，这个他出现的比例没有那么高，所以他不重要。
So let's take him out of the story.
那我们把他从这个所有的这个故事当中拿。
Let's just leave all the laws.
那我们如果只留下这些律法的话，
Where does that leave us?
那这个律法带我们往哪里去呢？
Hen chao gao. Right? I have no hope.
就没有盼望了。
The Messiah is my hope.
弥赛亚是我的盼望。
It's only through the Messiah that I can be blessed.
我如果有弥赛亚，我才会有祝福。
It's only through the Messiah that I can find life.
只有借着弥赛亚，我才能够有生命。
It's only through the Messiah that I can inherit the land.
只有借有弥赛亚，我才有办法再来承受这个地图的应许。
What I want to do is I want to conclude here, okay? Because we've got a lot. There's so much we could cover, okay? But
有很多要讲，但是呢，现在我要最后要做了一个总结。
I want you to go to the last slide.
要请你放最后一张幻灯片。
Let me give you the good news.
我给你一个好消息。
I've given you a lot of material to think about.
我刚才已经给大家很多资料了，让你去想。
And a lot of what I said, you're going to have to go back and do your homework.
那我讲了之后呢，你们要回去要好好自己再去做功课，再去读。
The good news is we wrote a book about all of this.
那好消息是说呢，我们写了一卷书，然后呢都已经讲了。
And the even better news,
更好的消息是，
the book is translated in Chinese.
这本书呢，我写了一本书，然后这本书呢已经翻译成中文了，
And so you can get this book.
所以你也可以买到这本书。
Okay? But I want to talk to you about the army.
但是我要现在跟你们分享的是军中。
In Taiwan, you know about army,
在
right?
台湾你们知道军队吗？军中的情况。
I think it's no longer mandatory service, but it used to be mandatory service, right?
过去的时候，所有的弟兄男生都要当兵嘛，对不对？但是现在不是嘛，不是所有的男生，也是
So
吗？
who here did the army?
过去有哪些人当过兵的？
Yeah,
当
wow.
过兵的。
Okay. So I want to teach you a word that you've never heard before.
好，我要教你们一个字呢，是你们从来没有学过的。
M16.
M16 是什么？我知道。
You know M16,
我
right?
知道 M16 是什么哈？
Okay.
那个枪。
So I want to tell you about the M16.
所以我要跟大家讲这个 M16 有什么。
I was in the Israeli army and I got an M16.
我在以色列的军中呢，我就有一个那个 M16 的这个
And when
枪。
I was serving, it was a really long one.
那我那时候的带的那个是一个很长的一个枪。
And every time I get on the bus, I would hit all the old ladies on the benches.
每一次呢，我一上车的时候带着那个枪的时候，我都会呢就不小心
Sorry.
不好意思，就打。
So
啊，
you know M16?
你知道 M16 吗？
Yeah, okay. So every soldier has to clean their M16.
每一个士兵都要怎么样？要清你的枪，对不对？
right? And you open up the M16.
你打开这个 M16的这个枪的时候
And you have what's called the firing chamber.
这就是这个什么这个火枪夹
Right? And then there's a little pin
里面有一个这个小小的针夹子
that you pull out of the firing chamber.
你要从这个炮火夹里面抽出来
Right?
的话
And the whole thing comes apart.
所有的这个整个的那个枪夹就会打开来，对不对？
And you'd say, well, why would you want to take it apart?
那你会说，哎，为什么要把它打开来呢？
Because you can clean it.
因为你必须要清理。
Every day you clean it in the morning and at night.
每天你都要清啊，早晚都要清啊。
Right? And so you clean it. And then after you've cleaned all the pieces,
等到你都清完了之后呢，
you put it back together.
你要再一次把它们再组装起来，
And then you put the pin back in the spot and it holds it together.
然后你再用这个夹子呢，再把它放进去呢，它这整个就会又组装起来。
So in Israel, we have a name for that pin.
所以呢，在以色列呢，我们这个夹子呢有一个名字，
It's called the Sabbath pin.
讲的就是安息日的夹子。
You say, why the Sabbath
我
pin?
想说，哎，为什么叫这个安息日的夹子？
One of the things that Israeli soldiers love the most is going home on the Sabbath.
这个以色列士兵最喜欢的一件事，就是在安息日的时候可以回家。
Right? Going home, you leave Friday and you come back on Sunday to the base.
这个安息日就是礼拜五的时候可以离开军营，然后礼拜天再回到军营。
But if you lose that pin,
但是呢，如果你万一掉了这个夹子呢，
the gun is useless.
你这把枪就没有用了。
You can use it as a hammer.
你可以把它拿来当这个榔头锤，
You can use it to scratch your back.
你拿来呢抓痒，
You can use it for baseball.
或拿来呢打棒球。
But it no longer works as a gun.
但是呢，它不能够。
So when an Israeli soldier loses that pin while he's cleaning the gun,
所以如果以色列士兵在清枪的时候掉了这个夹子的话，
his gun is useless
这把枪就没用了，
and he can't go home for the Sabbath.
他安息日就不能回家，
He gets punished.
那他就被处罚。
And so it's called the Sabbath pin.
所以呢，这个夹子就叫做安息日的夹子。
Let me just suggest to you that the Sabbath pin of the Torah is the Messiah.
那我在这边给大家一个建议，就是说，这个安息日的这个弥赛亚，就如同这个安息日的夹子一样，把整个妥拉串联起来。
When you go home, I want you to read these verses.
当你回家的时候呢，希望你们能够好好的
And
研
you will
读这些
see,
经文，
you will see how important they are.
你就会看见呢这些经文多么的重
If
要。
you take these verses out of the Torah,
如果你把这些经文呢从这个妥拉里面拿掉的话，
the Torah won't work anymore.
这妥拉呢就没有，就是它没有办法解决任何的问题。
I'll stand condemned as a lawbreaker.
那我们所有的人呢，都站在，我们就是成为那个什么没有办法守律法的受咒诅的人。
With these verses,
但是有了这几节经文之后呢，
not only does Israel have hope,
不单单以色列有了盼望
but all the nations have hope because God is faithful.
啊，但是因为神是信实慈爱的这位是信实的神，所以呢，列国呢都会因此而蒙福。
The Messiah is the answer to all of our problems.
所以弥赛亚是我们所有问题的解答。
I'll finish with a quick story.
最后呢，我讲一个很快讲一个故事。
Edis and I, we were actually flying from what was the place we were at? Kochun.
高雄，
高雄
对，我们跟院长呢，我跟院长呢，我们从高雄要飞过来，
And we were flying to Hualien.
我们就要飞到花莲来，从高雄要飞到花莲来。
Midway through the flight,
I'm sorry，
as we were going in the flight, halfway through the flight,
就在这个飞到一半的时候，
the stewardess the flight attendant was on the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please leave? Whatever she was saying in Chinese.
这个的空服员啊，他就在那个广播里面还有讲说这个先生女士啊怎么样，就是通常在飞机上面讲的。
And all of a sudden, I heard the pilot
就突然间我听到机长
say something very fast and very angry.
讲了呢，就是很快又很生气的讲一句话。我那时候觉得了，
Blah, 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 blah.
就像这样子。
And all of a sudden, I saw the flight attendant get really nervous.
我就突然间我就看到这个空服员呢，他就表情非常的紧张。
And then I heard on the intercom, emergency descent.
我就从这个他们的这个就是内部的那个通讯系统里面啊，就听到说我们要迫降。
And then I felt the plane going down.
然后我就感到那个飞机突然间急速下降。
Eris was watching a movie.
我院长那时候就在看一个电影。
I said, Eris, there's a problem.
我就跟他讲说，我们有问题了耶。
And he looked and I'll never forget his smile. He said, what's happening?
他就说，有什么问题啊？
I said, there's a serious problem with the plane.
我说，现在飞机有严重的问题耶。
And then the flight attendant came to, I was sitting in the front, the very front chair, and she was right across from me, right across, looking at me.
那因为那个空服员就坐在我正对面，所以我们就这样看着对方。
And she started digging under her chair.
就是他开始要从他的椅子下面呢，开始要捞东西起来。
And her hands are like this.
他的手呢一直发抖。
And I thought she was getting the life vest.
我以为他是要去拿他的这个救生衣的。
Which really scared me because Eris is a better swimmer than I am.
让我很害怕，因为呢，我们的院长啊，他比我会游泳，我不太会游泳。
And I honestly thought we were going to crash.
而我那个时候真的觉得说，我的飞机要坠机了。
And she pulls out an oxygen bottle and she puts it around her neck.
那他拿了这个氧气筒啊，拿起来了，放在他的这个脖子这边。
And her hands are shaking.
他手还在发抖。
And at some point the pilot said, please be seated.
那这个机长就说，请大家坐下来。
And she sat down right in front of me.
他坐下来的时候就在我对面。
Like this.
就像这样。
And she had her seatbelt on.
他那个时候已经绑上了这个安全带。
She was my prisoner.
这个时候呢，就像一个
She
囚犯一样。
couldn't get away.
他没有办法跑，就只能正对着我。
And after I heard that the plane was getting under control,
那当我听到就好像这个飞机啊，就是好像平稳了。
I looked at her and I said, maybe you might want to consider changing your careers.
那我就跟他讲说，也许呢，你也许要想一想，说是不是要换一个工作做。
But then I said to her,
然后我跟他讲，
you know, it makes you consider death, doesn't it?
我就说这件事情是不是让你想到死亡？
She said, yeah.
他说是。
And I said, you know, they've said that you're not ready to live until you're ready to die.
那我就跟他讲了，有一句话就是说呢，除非你未知你如果先知道死的话，你才知道怎么样活。
And I got to tell her about how Jesus took the fear of death from me.
然后我就开始呢跟他分享说，那个耶稣是怎么样让我从这个死亡阴影的那个害怕当中出来。
How through Jesus all of life found its answers.
那从耶稣的这个生命，然后找到一切的解答。
How only in Jesus we have a Sabbath pin that holds us together.
而只有耶稣呢，就像这一个安息日的夹子一样，把所有的一切都可以串联起来。
She will never forget this conversation.
我相信他永远不会忘记我们那个时候的对话。
By the way, her name is Vera. You can pray for her.
你可以为他祷告，他的名叫 Vera。
But really, as I look at the storyline of the Torah,
但真的呢，当我呢看这个纳尼亚传奇里面的这个狮子的时候，
and all the rest of the Old Testament,
还有所有的这个旧约，
as soon as you take the Messiah out, the story is very sad.
当你如果把这个弥赛亚拿掉的话呢，那整个的故事就成为一个悲剧一样。
But with the Messiah,
但是有了弥赛亚，
even though he doesn't appear a lot of times in the Old Testament,
就算他在旧约里面呢出现的几率没有那么多，
he always appears in the most important places in the Old Testament.
但是他总是在旧约里面最重要的地方出现。
So what did Jesus say? If you'd believe Moses, you'd believe me because he wrote about me.
所以耶稣说呢，你们如果相信摩西的话呢，你们就会相信我，因为呢，摩西的书上经上有写到我，
That is truth.
这是真实的事，
And that is life.
这个就是生命。
Amen? Amen. Can we pray?
我们可以一起祷告吗？
Father, thank you and praise you for this privilege of studying your word.
父神，感谢你，让我们能有这样的一个恩典，能够一起来研读你的话语。
Thank you, Father, for the Torah
谢谢你赐下陀拉
that points us to life,
带领我们指向生命
that points us to hope.
指向盼望。
I pray, Father, that as my brothers and sisters go home, that they would be able to study the passages that we looked at.
愿弟兄姐妹回去的时候，研读我们刚才分享的这几节经文的时候，
And I pray, Father, that they would see your glorious plan of redemption through the Messiah.
愿他们能够看见借着弥赛亚而带来的这一个荣耀的救赎。
We thank you that the Messiah is the Sabbath pin of the Torah.
我们感谢你，弥赛亚是这个安息日的夹子。
And more importantly, he is the Sabbath pin of our lives.
更重要的呢，它是我们生命当中的这个安息日的夹子。
We praise you and thank you in Jesus' name.
赞美你，感谢你，奉耶稣的名祷告。
Amen.
阿门。
我们谢谢那个 SACE 教务长给我们很好的一堂课。每次听他分享的时候，你会不会觉得很想回去读旧约？会吗？因为我们常常觉得说啊，读旧约好像哇，不知道它的精彩在哪里这样。613条，但我们读旧约好像有6万条一样，太多了。我真的觉得我们为什么我们这么宝贵，就是因为每次 SACE 来都提醒我们，其实圣经就是一本圣经，它不是旧约跟新约，它是一本圣经，就是神的话。所以我们再一次谢谢SACE 给我们的分享。我刚刚做了一个 note， 就是一个那个记录，我觉得我跟大家分享好了，就是说有时候我们在读圣经的时候，我们可以用圣经出现的次数来解释它的重要性，但是当我们看到SACE 在解释妥拉，在解释摩西五经的时候，我们不能够用圣经出现的次数来证明妥拉当中的弥赛亚，我们应该是以经文出现的关键来证明耶稣基督是那个关键的英雄。所以英雄平常我们如果看英雄，他平常就是穿西装上班，记者嘛，他是一个记者。那等到很关键的时刻，他就会进到那个电话亭里面，然后才把他的衣服脱开，然后英雄他就解决事情，他就回去继续过他平常的生活。那有时候我们读圣经的时候，我们会用说你看哦，圣经这个字出现了好多次，可见它很重要。但是当我们在读，我们可以有另外一种方式，就是看到那个关键的经文来证明神的话是非常重要的。我觉得这是一个蛮好的学习。那这也是我上课的一点点心得，跟大家分享这样。那我们结束早上的聚会，我们12点半马上 Aris 院长会向我们上课。那早上听旧约，中午我们听新约，所以呢，新约中的以色列，我觉得这也是很精彩的，也是我们必须要去了解跟认识的哈。所以呢，我们12点半回来。如果你有订便当的话呢，我们是11点，宋恩姐是40分会来，已经来。